Hey man, do you want to get high on Japanese? Well, then you may need this verb rariru, because rariru is a Japanese verb which refers to being high, being stoned, being out of your mind on various illicit substances, at least originally. So as you can see in this description of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, when they say yaku de rariteru, they're talking about being high on yaku, which is a slang itself for drugs, coming from the onyomi of kusuri. Now, this term has supposedly been around since the 1960s, and there are two primary etymologies that are listed. The first one, which is the one that I believe personally, not because I have evidence, but just because it's more fun, is that the term spawned out of a boom in the use of specifically paint thinners and sleeping pill abuse in the 1960s in Japan. And this is a real thing. The paint thinner thing gets mentioned in random books like Amitora, and just the Japanese Wikipedia article for sleeping pills mentions this abuse. But because these specific drugs were being used to a large extent, according to this etymology, rariru developed as a reference to the fact that these drugs would cause people's tongues to not move properly, preventing them from making the sounds in what is known as the raretsu, or the hiragana R chart, hence spawning the term. The second commonly cited etymology is that this term comes from the Yoji Jukugo rarikoppai, which refers to things kind of being in a messy state, or scattered in all directions. This is sometimes shortened to rari, like the start of rariru, and apparently this led to the use of rari ni naru to mean stupid, but to be honest, I can't find anyone using that now. There are 3 hits for it on Twitter, and then 3 other hits in the past tense, and they're all referring to information about people using the phrase rather than using the phrase. So I don't know, I'm honestly kind of skeptical. I also couldn't really find any hits in Google Books, but some websites do really assert this, some confidently even stating that they think it's the primary one, but there you go, being thorough. Regardless of the specific origins though, since the 1960s, rariru has expanded in its meaning to go beyond specific drugs or even the state of using drugs at all. For instance, it's absolutely okay to say that you are rariruing on sake, as you can see this person doing. Indeed, they specifically mention that they are not using any illegal substances. And it can also be used when you're really excited or really tired, or just in any kind of state of being where you are not acting in a kind of normal manner. In this discussion on Yahoo Chiibukuro, for instance, you can see someone asking if other people use rariru, and the person notes that yeah, they do, not when they're high, but when everyone's kind of in a weird state because they've been doing their club activities until really, really late at night. Noting that it's kind of a synonym for crazy, and saying that it's like a person who's been using drugs. Indeed, for instance, this person here uses it in a completely harmless way, just to note that the smell of the soba is so good, it's making them lightly rariteru, to an extent that they, quote, forget about the unreasonableness of the government. That's some good soba. And you can also use it just when your eyes aren't working and you think something looks blurry, such as this person here talking about a naked SpongeBob treat. Or even this person just saying they like this character when they're acting a bit weird, a bit silly, using rariru to express that kind of vibe. This is not the only term out there in Japanese that means to be high though. A common one is tobu, which I believe comes from ishiki ga tobu, like your consciousness flies away. That has been used for some time. There's no way I can find out where it exactly came from, but I should note that it has become quite popular more recently. And this is because in 2020, it was used by the former wrestler Choshu Riki on Aiseki Shokudo, one of the Japanese, watch people eat shows, after eating some scallops by the phrase kutte mi na tobuzo. Or have it bite, it'll make you fly. It'll get you high, it's so good. As a result, tobuzo specifically became used on the Japanese internet quite a bit to refer to really good food, and over time by extension just anything that's really good, such as this potentially sarcastic experience of driving an older car, or this person who says you would fly very high, get it, haha, if you encountered these idle contestants from the show Produce 101. Additionally then, pakiru is used to mean get high as a reference to the antidepressant drug Paxil, which is pakushiru in Japanese. Not because people were abusing the drug, just because if you take too much of it, it can cause you to stagger, become dizzy, have nausea, or other effects that are similar to, taking too much of a different drug. Just like rariru though, you can use it for alcohol, and for situations which are not drug-related, or at least not entirely drug-related, such as when you're feeling out of sorts because you've had alcohol, but also 24 hours of work without rest. And then also, kimeru can be used to take drugs, and kimaru can mean to be on drugs. I have no idea why, actually. I couldn't find a reason, and I cannot find when these started either, but here's a very clear example where somebody blaming Elon Musk's alleged drug use for the reason that Twitter's gone downhill specifically uses kimeru as a second reading of fukuyo, which on its own means to take medicine or drugs. Now, if you're getting really sleepy listening to me talk about all this, there might be a related reason for that, and that is rarihole. Because this term comes from the Japanese video game series Dragon Quest, where it is used as the name for basic sleep magic. Now, the creator of this game says they picked rarihole as the name of this magic just because it sounded good. So who knows? It may come from lullaby, although that it would be rara, not rari. And also, the Japanese dub of The Impossibles, which was apparently pretty popular, translated rally ho as rariho, and that became like a thing that a lot of kids were saying in the 1960s, etc., that might have been an influence. But I'm not the only one to note that this might also somehow be related to Rariru, even if, Dragon Quest is probably not going to admit that for rather obvious reasons. So actually, Rariru and Rariho then have a number of different possible etymologies, and we'll probably never know the truth, even if we can think some are more likely than others. And that's kind of the way it is with etymologies. Indeed, that's the way it is with a lot of things. For instance, some of you comment on my videos that my pronunciation of Japanese doesn't sound exactly like a Japanese speaker, and one of the reasons why might be because I'm not a native Japanese speaker. But the other reason that I mix up my R's and stuff like that might be because I'm high. Hello! That was a fun video. Thank you for watching. If you work with the Australian government, or if you are one of my bosses, I would just like to state that that was a joke, and I do not use illicit substances whatsoever, especially not in the workplace. Please don't fire me or throw me out of the country. I quite like it here.